you like it or not, Dr. Bawumia is the next chapter of this tradition. Oh yeah, Bawumia baba. Oh yeah, Bawumia baba.
Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude this lecture by turning to the future of our party and the tradition. Dr. Bawumia. He is the next chapter of this tradition. I repeat, whether you like it or not, Dr. Bawumia is the next chapter of this tradition. My dear students, every tradition that survives across generations must answer the same question each time leadership passes to a new hand. Does this successor carry the inheritance forward or only invoke its name? The case I wish to make in this final movement, in conclusion, is that Dr. Bawumia, as the current leader and presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, has done the harder thing. He has taken the abiding principles of the Dankwa Dombo Buzia tradition and translated them into a program suited to the specific economic and technological moment of that Ghana now faces. A moment defined by fiscal pressure, a youthful population in urgent need of jobs, and a fourth industrial revolution that will reward nations who prepare for it and punish those who do not. I promised earlier in this lecture that I will return to the name mentioned only in passing when we discuss the founding of the Northern People's Party in 1954, Alhaji Muhammadu Mumuni Bawumia. This man sat among the founding figures of that party alongside Chief Dombo himself, and went to serve as its vice chairman. He is Dr. Bawumia's own biological father. Therefore, Dr. Bawumia, who holds our flag today, is not new to this tradition. This is not a detail offered for sentimental alone. It means that the man now asking to lead this tradition into government is not merely an admirer of Dombo's example of selfless unity from distance of 70 years. He was raised in a household that carried that founding movement as a living memory. The chain we have traced this afternoon, from Salt Pond to the Northern Territories Council, to Bukom Square, to the swearing-in taking place in this hall today, runs through his own name as much as through the party. Dr. Bawumia himself has framed his candidacy as an inclusive national project. In his own words at UPSA, this is what he had to say, quote, "My vision is to create a tent big enough to accommodate all our people, to tap into the resourcefulness and the talent of our people, irrespective of our different ethnic, political, and religious backgrounds. To channel our energies into building the kind of country that assures a food self-sufficient, safe, prosperous, and dignified future for all Ghanaians, to create sustainable jobs with meaningful pay for all, and for Ghana to participate fully in the fourth industrial revolution using systems and data, end quote. Two ideas hold this vision together. The first is the big tent, a Ghana that draws on the talent of every citizen without regard to ethnicity, faith, or party. Ladies and gentlemen, let me pause here to do some further explanation. Oftentimes, some critics, our adversaries, the propagandists, will tell you that NPP belong to a particular group of Ghanaians. I tell you that it is complete falsehood. Dr. Bawumia himself is not from any Akan tribe. Is not from a big tribe. He's a Mamprisi man. He's a Muslim. But the party did not say that because he's a Muslim and a Mamprisi, he doesn't deserve that honor. The party says that because of his hard work, because of his loyalty, he should lead the party. So if you are a student, and somebody wants to take you away from NPP by telling you that NPP belongs to some group of people, belongs to a particular ethnic group, tell that person that our party, the NPP, is a party of diversity and inclusiveness. That our party is a party for all tribes, all ethnic groups, all religions in Ghana. And by the way, I stand before you delivering this lecture for and on behalf of Dr. Bawumia, for and on behalf of the tradition I cherish so much. My dad is an Anloman. I am from Volta region. My mom is an Efutu woman from Winneba. In any event, in Parliament today, Central region, we only have 4 seats. Ashanti region has overwhelming seats in Parliament on our ticket. Why did they choose me as a leader? It means that the party cherishes diversity. The party does not. The party does not say, because you belong to Volta region, because you belong to a small community in Efutu, Winneba, we want a majoritarian group to lead the party. Our tradition offers equal opportunity. So my dear student, the right place to be, the place to be is the new patriotic party. Let no one deceive you. This party would give you the opportunity. Work hard. No matter your tribe, go back to your community. Change the minds of your people. Tell them that the party that has so far put in place social intervention policies to transform Ghana is the NPP. And by the way, the NDC in Parliament, they are 189, together with the independent candidates. But if it comes to, when it comes to debates on national issues, they cannot match the length of the trousers of the mighty minority. They cannot. about the votes. We care about substance. And it's a substance that makes you relevant in national politics. So you, the students, must be proud of this party, this tradition. Associate yourself with the vision of Dr. Bawumia. When he talks about digitalization, he's not just making a rhetoric statement. He knows what he's saying. In today's world, it is digitalization that embodies every economy. A leader must understand the digitalized revolution to be able to lead. And trust me, NDC is going back into opposition, whether they like it or not. My dear students, I would conclude and leave you with one thing. Of all I've said, there's one thing I want you to leave this conference room with. Unity, unity, unity. What did I say? One more time. Let me attempt a little tree. Mamika tree kakra. Mr. Mu, yenu mendisi fono. Omode ndada ne entro no omode ji aban to me. Ensem bebre no mo kan na enam se yen NPP for yenya abotre ama yen hunti yenya odo ama yen hunti omutumi agi tumi no efri yensa wohwe Ghana bokosam ende maka no brofo akase yi a eye NPP amanye kuo no ena etumi edi ehihye papa ba ende obia di ho adanse ende Ghana amembuo ho hihye bi ekoso wo bo baako ebisa ni na NPP na de bae. It's out there and just say NPP co-opposition. Because Enkabom, Mr. youth amuwaha, muamu was suopon, muye school. Na se jumeni wa, what the abrebono kononami. It is Uncle way, my and your mechi. Yankambom, ye will leader bakupe. Ye leader, bakupe. Gugudu, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Onwechi obi eni obio. Na misremu moma unity no enye adwuma. Cape Coast University Tescom. Omo yade kese bia me bom abaso. Mikotu omufo. Eka kire omo so omo nkambom. No omo ngina emma party ni na anyonyam. Last week, meeting some baby. Say a Tescom former president, you know. On no when we need SRC president. How are you, CC? So what it means in this students, you know, we will take over and ensure, say, your ideology, no, age in our campuses. And on that chain. Sometimes media makosia social media ho ade kakra enti dia ya kire me wo school no me beka bibi kakra kire mo professor bi oba kire ma ade no say e bia no obi e kodidi watem e wo social media wo check here e bia just 2 likes ebia 0 shares obiampon share nkrofo mienu pe na wa den I like it na wubuefu na wuso udi eche wumbom na wo ye den wo spread it. And sometimes obi ka asemboni bi fa party ho anafa wunua bi ho a ma ne ndwem nko ebia na obi ampo ho ye na yen focus on Dr. Bawumia na yen fa nkunimdie ma no enoma bi ho ama no oxygen because training na to no obi enu ebetumi stop no me say obi enu wa obetumi stop training no enti no madamu nyina ase endem menda nka mu wo mu bibi papa bi ye but enam se mu do party no enam se mu pese mu tie ya tradition no na bokosem ne dia etina ema mu nti wasem mbre look up down full we are in opposition the future is bright. So our tradition in government and in motion. Kufuor spent 8 years in office. The first sustained opportunity in the era of competitive multi-party democracy to translate our philosophy into the daily lives of the Ghanaian people. What is striking, looking back, is how directly his flagship policies express the tradition's oldest conviction, that the state exists to remove the barriers that prevent ordinary citizens from building a dignified life for themselves and their families. I begin the health sector. Before Kufuor came into office, we had what we call cash and carry. The NDC says they are social democrats. They trace their roots from socialism. So, under normal circumstances, social democrats should have put in place mechanisms for the vulnerable. But under the NDC, we had what we call cash and carry. It was J.A. Kufuor who introduced the National Health Insurance Policy in 2003. The health insurance introduced by the Kufuor government was a representation of a paradigm shift in Ghana's social policy architecture by replacing the exclusionary cash and carry system with a pooled insurance model. The state reduced the economic barriers to healthcare access for millions of Ghanaians. And by way of education, in Parliament back in the days, the NDC said, even in the United States, mighty America did not have health insurance. Therefore, the health insurance policy will fail. But today, they are the ones who are enjoying it. It is my contention, therefore, that from a center-right ideological perspective, the NHIS was not an act of welfare populism, but an investment in productive capacity. Access to healthcare strengthens human capital. Health is a prerequisite for self-actualization, labor participation, and entrepreneurial activity. By safeguarding individuals from catastrophic health expenditure, the NHIS enhance economic security, reduce vulnerability, induce poverty, and enable citizens to engage more fully in economic life. A healthy population is better positioned to work, innovate, and accumulate assets, the core features of property-owning democracy. In this sense, the scheme operationalized a center-right philosophy that social protection should empower the individuals to function effectively within the market, not to withdraw from it. Now, capitation grants, free compulsory universal basic education, and school feeding. Ladies and gentlemen, I again submit that it was Kufuor's administration that for the first time in the history of our country, under the Fourth Republic, declared and made basic education free from kindergarten to JHS 3. My dear students, it was Kufuor who introduced the school feeding policy, which incentivized enrollment and retention, particularly in low-income and rural communities, by providing one hot meal, one nutritious meal daily to pupils in public kindergartens and primary schools. Together, the effective implementation of free compulsory basic education, these interventions reinforce the ideological commitment to individual empowerment through education. Again, this reflects center-right logic in its most constructive sense. By keeping children in school, improving nutrition, and reducing the cost burden on households, these programs lifted children from disadvantaged background into human capital pipeline necessary for full participation in economic and civic life. Then, Kufuor again, recognizing the need for the state to invest in public transport, introduced the Metro Mass Transit system and revamped the public transport system. We all call it Kufuor bus. Is there Atamo's bus? No. Do we have Rollins bus? No. Do we have Mahama bus? No. What bus do we know? And when they introduced the confirmed policy, what happened? The odd and confirms flew to where? So I contend, therefore, that the NDC has no single social intervention program introduced by them and implemented successfully since they first ever had a chance to govern this country. They have none. Still on Kufuor, the cocoa sector. It was Kufuor who introduced the mass spraying policy and invested in agriculture, supported our farmers, and for the first time in the history of our country, cocoa harvest and cocoa production increased to 1 million tons. President Kufuor also declared a golden age of business and a private sector-led growth that saw many youths taking to business, investing their energies in private sector and creating jobs. I am standing here as a living example of that initiative. And I must cite this example to you. When I was at UCC, level 300, I was doing BCom. At the time, Kufuor has sent some people to various universities to prepare us on private sector initiatives, entrepreneurship. So there were regular career counseling, and many of us went on to listen to them. It was that counseling session that took me out of school. And I left school to register my business, started running business. My first loan was granted by NIB to go and buy trucks, first motorbikes for my courier company. That was Kufuor in action. Many businesses benefited because it is a private sector that created the opportunity, not public sector bureaucracy. Kufuor also undertook social security and pension reforms that benefited the aged and the elderly. Now let me also take you through our tradition under a renewed mandate, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the second coming of NPP, 2017 to 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've already submitted, Kufuor's presidency established that this tradition could govern competently and compassionately. The presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo carried the inheritance forward by a tie of blood as well as conviction. Akufo-Addo's own father, Edward Akufo-Addo, a member of the UGCC, who later served as Chief Justice and later the country's ceremonial president from 1970 to 1972 under Professor Buzia's premiership. And as he was, by his own family's account, the great-grandnephew of Dr. J.B. Dankwa, by the time he reached the presidency, Akufo-Addo was not only a custodian of this tradition's ideas, he carried its history in his own household. His presidency sought to extend that inheritance further still into secondary education, industrial transformation, and structural diversification of the Ghanaian economy. The famous, the unmatched, the second to none free SHS. Members of the academia, regional executives, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, the free SHS policy stands as the most emblematic social intervention of the Akufo-Addo's administration and arguably the most consequential of Ghana's fourth republic. By removing financial barriers at the secondary level, the policy expanded access to education for thousands of students from low-income households who would otherwise have been excluded from secondary education. In doing so, it did not only increase enrollment figures, it widened the pipeline of opportunity. This intervention transformed education from a privilege of birth into a function of talent and effort, thereby democratizing access to what he had been, an elite knowledge economy. Education within the Dankwa Dombo Buzia center-right conception of a property-owning democracy is the primary instrument through which individuals develop their talent, enhance their productivity, and acquire the capacity to participate meaningfully in economic life. Free SHS, therefore, represent not a departure from our center-right philosophy, but its practical fulfillment, empowering individuals with a human capital necessary to become economically self-reliant. In center-right terms, free SHS is best understood not as consumption spending, but as human capital formation on a national scale with long-term returns in productivity, innovation, and social cohesion. Respected colleagues from Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, complementing the free SHS, the Akufo-Addo administration also extended the policy to cover technical and vocational education and training, TVET, making it accessible without tuition barriers to junior high school graduates and other youth seeking practical skills. This expansion reflects a center-right developmental philosophy that values skills empowerment and productive inclusion, recognizing that formal education alone is insufficient to prepare individuals for competitive participation in a modern economy. By integrating TVET into the broader free SHS framework, the policy aimed to cultivate a workforce equipped with industry-relevant skills, enhance employability, and to stimulate enterprise creation. The socio-economic impact of this extension has been significant. It has broadened access to technical training for students from financially constrained backgrounds, strengthened institutional capacity in vocational schools, and improved alignment between educational outcomes and labor market demands. In doing so, the policy contributes to reduce youth unemployment, enhance human capital, and greater economic resilience. Akufo-Addo did not only end there, he also introduced the STEM educational policy. Science, technology, education, and mathematics was key as part of educational policy reforms. He set it up with the infrastructure, and today our friends are benefiting from it. Let me take you to the 1D1F, a policy that was initiated to allow for free enterprise to thrive. My dear students, many companies are burdened by the taxes they pay. What Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration did was to take away the taxes. So when you come into our country and you want to invest, the equipment, the raw materials you import in, you don't pay duty. Our friends criticize it. They came, they said they've cancelled the 1D1F. But ask them a simple question. What have they introduced in place of the 1D1F? They promised 1 job, 3 shifts. They promised 24-hour economy. All have become a complete scam. 419 government. The Akufo-Addo administration also introduced a planting for food and jobs that made locally produced rice, maize, yam, and other farm produce cheaper than being imported. Today, it is expensive to locally produce maize as compared to imported maize. Today, it is expensive to buy locally produced rice as compared to imported rice. Did we go or did we come? The very thing they criticized as they came into office, they are unable to introduce any policy to bring a change where Ghanaians will say there's a vast difference between the old and the new. There is none. They criticized Galamsey. They said we did not have a strong anti-Galamsey policy. But today, they have set up the gold board. They have set up the gold board to buy Galamsey gold. Again, a government which is a walking contradiction. Now let me turn to the Agenda 111. Akufo-Addo administration, recognizing the need to ensure massive health infrastructure, began the Agenda 111. They came in, they've abandoned it. Recently, the chief of Doma Yinkro reminded them that it is important for them to complete the Agenda 111 hospitals than to say they are constructing 24-hour market, because market already exists in our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude this lecture by turning to the future of our party and its tradition. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.